everyone, and welcome to my universe. So, I looked over things, and I think the head's looking pretty okay. About as... Yeah, I think it's fine. I did consider maybe erasing a little bit around the eye here, just to separate that, but I'm gonna leave it like this for now. I'll see how I feel about things. But man, I got phlegm. Anyway, but I think it's fine. So I was gonna go and move on into her arm and shoulder here. And I think before I handle the collar bit that I have kind of sitting on top there, I want to make sure that I'm happy with the overall shape of her arm. So I'm going to start there. Let's see. So this one, right? Yeah, here we go. I do not remember how I ordered my layers anymore. So it is time to relearn now that I am no longer dealing with just the head. Alright, so I'm just gonna go ahead and make everything the solid color, and I'll plop the shadows on after I am comfortable with what I've got here. And I think for this, I would actually like to get rid of her body. So let's just pull some things away so that I can see a little bit better. And I'll get the ribbon too. There we go. Okay. So I have now isolated the arm. And just a couple of things that I'm noticing immediately. This right here. No. No. Not allowed. So that's going to be the first thing I kind of fix up here. I think where I have the hands is okay-ish. But I think for the sake of convenience, I can actually get away with just taking her hands and moving them a little further up the bat, and that will let me move her arm in a better way, so that this way I can get rid of this obnoxious tangent there. We do not need the elbow and the crocodile she's coming out of to be sharing a line. Totally unnecessary. And I forget. Do I still have my baseball references? I don't think I do. Yeah, I totally don't. Let me pull one up here. Okay. Let's see. Swinging baseball bat. Yes. Do they normally go on the top or more toward the bottom? Because, I'm not actually sure. It does look like they actually do hold the bat more toward the bottom. Okay, I'm gonna put the hands back then. Never mind. Okay, so yes, it is a bit more toward the bottom, so that's why I check these things. I'll move her hands a little bit more toward the bottom. I think that'll have the same effect I want here, and even if I kept them in literally the exact same spot, I could get rid of that, but this just makes it a little easier. See, changing the angle of the arm a little bit, and now her elbow is no longer sharing a line with this crocodile, and that's all I wanted to fix. For now. And right now, I'm just trying to make sure that the top and bottom parts of the arm are a little bit more similar in length. If I recall, I think the bottom part is actually a little bit longer than the top part, and not true right now, so I actually want to move that elbow just a little bit more. Where is the cuff here? We're gonna push this up a little, and her elbow is gonna be over there now. It's okay. It's arms. Arms continue to be my art nemesis, so I'm not surprised that I have to make a few corrections before I'm ready to just really dig into this. Where are the cuffs on her arms? It's like right on top of the elbow, right? Yeah. And in this case, since the arm is bent, the elbow's going to be pushing it up a little bit more than usual. So if anything, it should be a little bit shorter than it otherwise would be. Yes. We'll plop the elbow kind of in here. go from there. And that looks a bit better. These look a little bit more the same length now. Freaking arm span. I don't know why I find them so hard, but I certainly do. I simply know it to be true, and let's make her nice and strong. I kind of did the bare minimum because I wanted to work on the face, but now it's time to get everything just right. So let's kind of bring in that wrist a little bit, and if I recall, those gloves do kind of, yeah, they do kind of stick out a bit. Got little round bits. Let's go over here. They're a little bit more prominent on this art. Fascinating. Anywho. Let's see, I'm gonna get rid of some of these shadows for now, just so they don't throw me off. And we'll give her a nice, strong arm here. Yes, I do like that. Then the pointy part of her elbow will be like right through here. And it'll just come up into her sleeve. And I think she looks nice and strong. I think it'll make this swing just feel so much more powerful. So I'm happy. Okay, I'm gonna hide the armband. I want to keep that cuff though. That I think will actually help me. So I'll keep it. And with the way that this is angled here, once again, I think I'm going to get rid of the shadows. I actually kind of want you to change direction a little bit more here. Gonna make some adjustments, and oh, I have the layer locked. We're gonna let it kind of wrap around her arm back here. And then I think the point where it turns. Now, you know, normally it'd just be a big old circle here. But due to a stylistic choice, I am keeping as many straight lines as possible. So I'm gonna make it like this instead. Then I want to make it roughly parallel, so that means the turn is gonna come through here. So, you know, it's being altered a little bit. I'm just gonna get rid of that part. And there's going to be some folds in there, so let's make it extra pointy. Once again, normally I'd make the folds a little bit rounder, but right now I want them to be sharp enough to stab me. And that is just what I want out of this art style. Okay, and I'll do the same thing over here. Okay, I have to do this side a little bit differently. But that's okay. Easy enough to do. Okay. So there we go. We got a little bit of extra folds in here, and this will be the point where it wraps around her arm. And I think I will add an extra little fold right here in her elbow. I just think that will look a little bit nicer, and we'll still keep these nice and parallel. So I don't think this one needs like any additional bumps or anything. Actually, you know what? I don't even like this one. So I changed my mind. Okay. And I think that looks fine. So I'll go get her shoulder now. Let's see. Does she have like poofy sleeves or anything? It doesn't look like it. And yeah, it looks like this side does not have those yellow tie things right here. So that must just be on her other arm. So I don't have to worry about that. And now I can just make this part of her arm look nice. Let's flex that bicep a little bit. It's not tight, unfortunately. But I don't know, I can still play around with it and have some fun. No, there's when I look at the art here, I am mostly looking on this side since this side is covered up by that armband. But it does look like it kind of poofs out a little bit at the bottom here, like her sleeve is pulled up a little bit, and then is tucked into this cuff. So no, it's poofy enough that we're not gonna get to see a flexed bicep. I want to honor that. So I'm gonna do it like this. And we're gonna make her sleeve nice and poofy. And let's see, her arm is being flexed this way, so I think that this side will have an additional fold, but the other side is gonna be pretty straight. Okay. Some of this probably won't matter because the armband will come back on, but that's okay. And I'll go ahead and just add some of these shadows in here really quick, because I think we see the bottom of the sleeve here. I'm gonna go ahead and hide this. So there we go. This is just what's gonna come out of the bottom of the sleeve, and we can make it nice and poofy. Add a few folds here and there to make it look nice. I can be pretty random with these folds, and let's see, I kind of want to match what I got up here. So let's actually let the folds be a little bit more like this. How do I want to do this? There we go. That should work. Okay, yeah, that looks fine. All right, and I'll go ahead and plop a few shadows in a couple of other places too. We'll get the one kind of going across here. I will try to keep it straight, but I'm not going to be super picky about it right now. Right now, I'm just kind of prepping for the final version. I'm just making sure that I like where everything is and how it's all going and all that good stuff. Okay, I'll go ahead and I'll plop the shadow down here too. I'm not going to worry about the lines on the arm for now. I just want to put the little shadow under there. Okay. And then there should be a shadow with how I have it drawn going kind of like this. Okay, and I think that's sufficient until I get the other accessories on. So let's get in that armband. I want to rotate it a little, actually. Kind of better matches. Yeah, I kind of had a feeling that that little fold would get covered up, but that's fine. And the armband doesn't look very floppy. I'm not gonna put the kanji on it just yet. That's gonna be like one of the last things I do for this. But I will get some of the other shadows on, and yeah, there we go. Like I said, it doesn't look floppy to me, so I'm gonna keep it very rigid. Okay, I guess I just have to get rid of that fold there. A little unfortunate, but that's okay. I don't know, do I want that? Yeah, that's fine. And we'll just put the line back there. Okay. And you know what? I think I want to get rid of the tail here too. There's a little bit of overlap, and it's just enough that I think I will have a hard time handling certain things if I leave it there. Kind of the same with that, the back part of her collar there. So let's hide that as well. Well, we'll just isolate as much of this as possible. Okay. For some things, I'm a little bit more particular. Okay, to draw this part, I think I do have to have an idea of where the rest of it's going to be going. So I'm actually going to turn her shirt back on here. Okay. So I want to spend a little bit of time actually thinking about how this collar is going to sit on her shoulder. So let's go look at her character sheet here. find the side view a little confusing here, because from the front it looks like it goes nearly over her entire shoulder, but from the side it looks like it's not at all. It looks much shorter. I'll stick with the front and the back, I think. I think this is probably just me misunderstanding what the artist is going for perspective-wise. Oh yeah, it's because the seam is lower than I would normally expect. You know, that makes sense. I kind of figured it was me just misinterpreting it, but yeah, now I understand that the seam on her shirt is much lower on the shoulder than I was giving it credit for, so this is really low on the shoulder. It's like on top of her arm there. Yeah, that makes more sense. Okay. So let's see. It's gonna be sitting on her shoulder. Her shoulder on mine is going pretty... well, not exactly far forward, but it's on top of everything else. So I've been considering if I need to handle the collar a little bit more like this. So we'll plop in some black here. And then this green part should be pushed down a little bit. I think it's gonna wrap around her shoulder. I will allow myself curves for now while I'm trying to understand what the hell I'm doing. Let's see, the color back that I just hid, I kind of want it back again. Yeah, and it could kind of roll off into that. I don't know, is this okay? I feel like this part should be kind of folding into her arm a little bit more, or should it? No, I think this is more accurate. Trying to picture 3D space in my head. Give me a moment. I gotta close my eyes and touch the cloth as I do. So, time to do my weird esoteric art things. Give me just a moment here. It's black magic, I tell you, but I think this is roughly right. I just don't like how it's gotta, like, come back and be squished a little, so something like that, maybe. Maybe not quite that thick. Oh yeah, I think something like this should be okay. And the rest of it I can kind of figure out on this part, which I think should be pretty easy. In fact, I should probably do that now, actually. So, let's come up here. I will hide the arm of stuff for a moment. And I will come figure that out. Okay, so I can see what's going on here. And what we have is, this is just her shirt here. And I can see the bottom of her chest down there. That's how I draw these things. I think this is just a shadow from her arm, so I'm not going to worry about it. But there we go. There's the bottom of the chest. And her neck is kind of coming out through here and into all of this. It's a little bit nonsense, but that's fine. I think I can show a little bit more neck here. She's not leaning quite like that. Okay. So I think that should be fine, and once again, I'm not going to worry about the patterns on the collar just yet. Those were there to test some color balance stuff later, but now they're not at all relevant. So if this was normal and it was just going to sit on her chest normally with no weird arm coming out to swing the baseball bat, it would actually, I think, come down a little bit more. Oh, I don't have the right color, do I? Oh, I do. Okay. And you know what? Let's just, I'm gonna clear everything. I'm gonna find the center of this. So the center is gonna be this little shell shape right there, and I think it goes right about here. Right about there. Okay. And then we'll have a part sitting on her shoulders like this. And then this part will come up to this shoulder, which is in a little bit different of a spot. And then it'll wrap around her neck. And out into here, where it'll sit on her shoulders like this. And the other part of her neck is somewhere over here, I guess. So we'll let that wrap around her neck and kind of sit in her shoulder like that. And if I was going to draw it normally, it would look something like this. I think I have it a little bit skewed. That's easy enough to fix, so there we go. And now, fortunately, I kind of have it drawn in such a way that I can see where the shoulder is without actually turning it on. So I can kind of see how this is going to feed in to everything else. So let's actually make it a little bit more like that. Then it'll kind of come out and wrap around, and let's see if that helped me get it right here. Okay. It's going to be behind certain parts of her arm, and that's fine, I think. Yeah. Just fine. I'll let it feed back behind everything here. In fact, I think I actually want it to be behind the armband, not in front of it. And I'll let the armband kind of push it aside a little bit. And there we go. I think that looks a little bit better. Sometimes you just gotta go back to basics. Okay. So yeah, that helped a lot, actually. And then, just on this collar bit, I think what I want to happen is I want it to kind of meld in with the back part here. So I do believe that they connect out like this. Yeah, it looks fine to me. Okay, I need to check something on the arm here. Okay, so what I was seeing is there was a part of the arm here that has some black on it, and I can't have that. There's too much black surrounding it, and it was making her arm look super skinny. So I gotta get rid of all the black in that area. And then we add a little bit up here for the shadow on the collar, right there. And since this is mostly the side, I don't think we'll see very much of this. We'll see a little of it. We definitely will see a little bit. But it's going to be turned in kind of a weird way. But I think that this looks pretty good. So I'm going to clean that up, and I'll worry about the hands in a little bit, because I don't feel like dealing with them right now. Okay, I'll do it layer order, ignoring hands, because, man, no, later, yes, okay. Right now, I just kind of want to have a nice time smoothing some stuff out. In true Saturday fashion, I went to bed late. Because I do go to bed late almost every Saturday. There's stuff I gotta do. So now I'm sleepy. How could this happen to me? I made the choice. Stay up later than I normally would. and get up at the same time. And now I'm sleepy. It's truly a mystery how these things happen. It's like, I'll probably go take a little nap after stream. Some days I'm sleepier than others. It's okay, it's worth it though. Saturday night is the night my daughter goes to sleep over with her grandpa on Saturday nights. And that means kids go to bed early, or rather the only one that'll be home is the little one, who does in fact go to bed early than the big one. And so my husband and I get to do stuff, and it's fantastic and totally worth staying up late for and being sleepy the next day. Thus, I do not see my Sunday sleepiness going away anytime soon. The little one is almost big enough to sleep over too, so you know, maybe that's when my sleepiness will go away a little bit. Because then I can sleep in too, without having to worry about it. Alright. Man, I can tell my lines are very not straight today, though. Not at all. Such is life. I might just break out the line tool. It's okay. I'm gonna let myself be a little bit lazy today. And I am just going to cheat everything with line tool and make nice straight lines exactly to my liking. I'll probably still try to draw them a little bit, but man, look how not straight this one is. Let's fix that. There we go. That's so much better. Oh, you're still set to erase. Alright. And it's fine if where my folds are end up being a little bit different. It's okay. Doesn't really matter. As long as I like where I'm putting them. All is well. I want a thinner line here. There we go. And all I'm really doing here is I grab the line tool, I plop it where I think it should go, and then I turn it into an eraser in order to get the parts that are kind of sticking out. Very easy. It's much easier than trying to draw it myself, strictly speaking, but I still like to try. I still consider that important, so I still try to do it. At least a little. I was mentioning yesterday that the reason I learned how to draw, I wanted to be able to draw some original characters, but before then, up to that point, I was essentially not photo bashing, but making collages of images that I found on Google in order to make things look more like my characters. So at first I just started changing their eye colors, or actually, you know, at first I would just do the traditional Google and anime girl and use that with no changes. But as I started getting clearer and clearer images in my head, I would start changing colors, you know, like their eye color or their hair color. And you know, that was nice. I liked it. I liked being able to get something a little bit more accurate to what my character looked like. And then after that, I got better at editing, so I was able to edit heads onto other clothes and mix clothes from different images together and stuff, and that was pretty cool. I liked that. And so gradually I was able to get more and more accurate, and I just started getting annoyed with how hard it was to find images that actually matched the image that I had in my head. So I stopped and I drew them instead. That's how it all started. Okay, and I'll worry about wrapping this corner around her arm more convincingly later. I think this is fine for now. Does that look like it's wrapping? I don't think it does, actually. No, that's not right. That's not right at all. No, I know what happened. Let's see. I need to continue this line out a little bit more. We continue it. It comes up here. And I think that angle is okay. And then from there, I connect the corners here. There we go. That's better. I think I'll need to lessen the shadows on the arm a little bit in order to make this not look a little bit strange, but that's okay. I'll cross that bridge when I get there. Let's just get the cuff for now. I'll just totally finish it off. Okay, but that seems fine. I think I can work with this. Okay, and now I just want to get the shadow parts in, so let's see. Yeah, I do think having a shadow kind of coming up here makes sense. I like it. And we'll have this guy going all the way over. I'm gonna just kind of sketch it all in again. Fortunately, just due to the nature of my process, sometimes I have to repeat steps a little bit. I'm trying to notice those things, so that maybe I can either get it right the first time, or not spend a lot of time on the parts that I know I'm gonna have to duplicate later. But whichever way ends up working out for me. I'm not quite sure which one it's gonna be yet, but I do like to pay attention to these things. I think it's important. It's the kind of thing with enough care and attention, I'll be able to go a little bit faster at some point. Okay. I do like that shadow. I want it there, but I just hated the shape so much, I was like, you know, it'll be easier just to start over at this point. So I'm gonna do that. There we go. Yes? Perhaps? Yeah, I think so, and I think there's enough black areas around this that I'm not actually gonna outline it. I think that I want to get more of her torso finished before I decide if some of these parts need outlines. Because I get the feeling that they won't, actually. We'll see if I change my mind a little bit later, but it'll be easier to figure out where those outlines need to go once more of this is done. The head is basically on top, so I knew that the head was going to have to be responsible for a lot of its own stuff. So that's why I was pretty willing to just handle everything separately there. But here, I'm not sure yet. So I'm gonna wait. And I'll take care of it later. It'll be fine. Just fine. Okay. So I'm just gonna kind of smooth out some of these angles. I'm trying to keep it somewhat in line with the parts that I got back there. At least, somewhat. We'll see how that works out. As always, you know, there's small changes I want to make. That's okay. Nothing to worry about. And everything will look a little bit silly when I start doing things with the line tool. That's just how it goes. But it is for the best. It will make my life a little bit easier, so I will use it. Okay. Yeah, once I clean that up, that's gonna look great. Let's go. So this is mostly just gonna be coloring in certain areas. Maybe straightening out a few areas that I found a little difficult to do with the line tool, but for the most part, it's just gonna be coloring in areas that need it. So like here, this is just a floating little black spot, so let's get rid of that. Okay, now that's some dirt on my screen. I swear I just cleaned this thing. I don't know how it keeps happening. For shame, man. Entropy. Truly the enemy of all. Okay. Honestly, I'm considering switching Sunday stream to Thursday, since I tend to not sleep. Yeah, I might do that, actually. Then we can have, I guess, Gaming Day sandwich. Or maybe I just make Gaming Day Thursday. I don't know, man. I don't think it matters that much. Okay, let's see here. I think I want one more fold coming out there. I'll try my best to keep that line straight, but it just looked weird with this extra little bump there. I think the bump looks good. I think that's what I need it to look like, but it wasn't quite lining up with how I felt that this thing was moving around a little bit. But I think that helped. So I think that looks pretty good. I want to go get that cute little tooth pattern that she has on there. I mean, look how cute it is. So cute. So it's lining up with kind of her forearm here, so I think... Let's see, where do I put that? Which part of her arm is it corresponding with? Like, it's not the side here. So it's not going to be the side that has the palm. Or not the palm, the back of the hand. So it's not going to be, like, here. I think it's going to be over here. I guess I'll plop in the line itself first. That'll be easy to draw. Especially if I'm cheesing it with a line tool. So, let's see, how far away is it? It's like right up at the edge. I will almost certainly have to adjust this a little bit, and that's fine. But I'll get it in like this first. Okay, no, this needs to be just a touch longer. That's a little bit too long, huh? Okay, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'll just fix it after I'm happy with the distance. There we go. Okay, so now I should be able to clean that nice and easy. And I want to respect this fold a little bit more, so what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna lift this up just a little. To let that fold be a little bit more meaningful. And that will also mean that I gotta kind of lift it up here a little bit. But, you know, this fold needs to feel like he can actually affect the world. And is actually affecting the world. So, you know, it's important. So we'll just add a little bump right there. And that will give that fold a little bit more presence. Make it so it's actually doing something instead of just kind of being weird decoration. Yes. Okay, and now I can plopper the little tooth shape on. I think I'll just draw those though. Just because it's at kind of a border here, so it's fine if it's not like perfectly straight. So I think they are like right next to each other. There's no gap, right? Yeah, no gap. Perfect. And see, because of the folds, the fact that they are different sizes is totally fine. Unironically, I think it looks fine. I think I might adjust the angle on this one just a little bit, but I do think that it is okay. I love this little pattern. It's so simple, but it's so cute. Just making it look like little gator teeth. I love it. It's wonderful. Is that better? That is so much better. Okay. So now I want to put a slight line around this, but it's gonna be small. So we're gonna do another day of Planckera pretends like she does line art. Honestly, after doing this enough times, I almost feel like if I really wanted to do line art by art now, I probably could. But I don't think I do, so... Maybe just for very specific styles, if I happen to feel like it. Okay, time for weird posing. Man. I don't want to use the line tool for such a small line, because that would be annoying. I know I'm definitely gonna have to use it for the top there. As long as I don't want to be doing shenanigans, but... For the tooth parts, it's just like, I thought it would be way more annoying to just do it with the line tool. Okay, how thick is this line? This line is like super tiny, right? Did I get the right thickness? Let me check. Maybe just a little bit more. Yeah, that should do it. Okay. Oh no, that's way too thick actually. I probably had it right the first time. That's better. Alright, so I'll just plop this around, and that'll be it for the cuff here. And I think I'll do the upper part of her sleeve first. Probably the armband very first, actually. Oh, which will probably also mean I do the collar right after that, and then the upper part of her arm. Okay. You know what? Sounds good to me. I'm gonna have to decide if I want to attempt hands today. I do think I will probably switch my face connector art streams to Thursday, though. I've gone many a week feeling kind of half asleep for this one specifically. Unless I happen to nap before it, which I didn't today, so I don't want to count on that. It probably just makes more sense to schedule for a time where I do normally sleep the day before. Okay. So yeah, I think I'll start switching to Thursday. Anyway, let's run armband. And I can maybe figure out some hard things. Oh man. Let's see, is that... Okay, so I do have the kanji here. Oh boy! I am so gonna have to fake that. Okay. You know what? It's okay. Let's go ahead and just get this smoothed first. I'm kind of making sure that it lines up somewhat with this part, but it doesn't have to be exact. No, it does not have to be exact at all. Oh yeah, and this week I finished the Zero Escape trilogy. Man, the way the story of the last one was presented was certainly a decision. That was quite the ride. I'm still trying to decide if it was successful or not. I kind of leaned toward no, because it had... I felt like there was a lot of gameplay concessions that had to be made, and character writing that didn't really make much sense in order to make certain things happen there. And it was weird. So I don't think it was necessarily a very successful way to do it, and at the point when the plot kind of started to come together a little bit, suddenly everything was kind of more linear again, and that, I think, kind of defeats the purpose of the weird style it was presented with. So for those who have never played Zero Time Dilemma, the third in the series there... Actually, you know what, I'm even gonna go back up further. For those that have never played Zero Escape at all, any of the games in the trilogy, the basic way that it works is that there's these... You know how most visual novels, or at least a lot of visual novels, will have some kind of route system where you can get slightly different stories depending on which path you take, especially common in the ones where you're picking which girl you want to date, for example. But even ones that don't have that kind of aspect will often have routes. So in this one, you're kind of expected to go through all of them, and they're more like alternate timelines, where you can get information from alternate timelines and use that to solve things in other timelines, as the protagonist retains some memory of it. So I think it's kind of an interesting concept. I can tell that the guy... Yeah, the writer probably heard a little bit about quantum mechanics and the many worlds theory and thought it was cool as hell and wanted to write a story where some of these more fantastical things could be true. And I can respect it. Fake science is awesome. I ramble about it a lot. I think it's great. And he references this absolute quack scientist known as Shieldman that got that published some books that were pretty silly. I read a little bit about him, and definitely a little bit silly. But I think it's still really neat of just taking some of those theories and running with them. I think it's a neat basis for some world building. But anyway, so you take information from other timelines and use it to find the good end, basically. And the other games all kind of had more linear trees that you could traverse. Whereas Zero Time Dilemma did it more in, like, a small little vignette formats. Where you'd more get some disconnected scenes as opposed to a more easier to navigate tree. And sometimes it could be hard to tell what was going on before these scenes happened, and it was a very weird way to tell a story. I'm glad I read it, but I don't think it worked. And that's kind of what I was talking about there, where at first you have absolutely no idea what's going on, just none whatsoever. And a lot of the early scenes are like really graphic and brutal, and is often just repeated death scenes over and over and over again with no real context. So, and after a while, you kind of get enough information that you can make some things happen. But one of the big things that kept happening, and probably one of my complaints, is that for every choice, there are some that just don't really make much sense. So they try really, really hard to justify it. Like, really hard. And the justifications don't make much sense, to the point that when you make them, the character is often like, I don't know why I did that. It felt like something was controlling my arm. Am I infested with mind control parasites? And, so it just started getting really strange. I don't know, man. And it just kind of led to some weird out-of-character, or writing that I felt like it was just kind of out of character, and various things like that. So I appreciate the experimental format, but I don't think it quite worked. Alright. And let's see, for this armband here, I don't think I'm gonna do the little connecty bit yet. I think I'm gonna draw the rest of her arm first. So I'm just gonna go right into figuring out that hellish kanji. So here we go. Dear Lord, please help me. Okay, I'm actually gonna move this over here so that this way I can keep it on screen while I try to write it. So let's see, where does it start? It ends on her back, because I can see it here. I'm terrified. Okay, so the first one kind of starts in her armpit, which is gonna be a little bit more on the other side here. So I think we see maybe the tail end of this first character. I am gonna make a new layer and try to sketch this. So here we go. So I'm gonna, like, get this little tail kind of coming through here, and then it, I don't know, it wiggles. And then we'll have a little bit going across the top there. I can read some kanji, you know, maybe a couple of hundred, but I don't actually know these ones. I know this one is Chief. That's the only one I can read. So I don't really know how to write any of these, so I'm gonna be getting, like, stroke order and everything totally wrong. Don't worry about it. I'm trying to hit the ones that are, like, parallel with this line here, parallel with my line there, because mine's at a little bit of an angle. And I'm just gonna go from there and, you know, hope it all works out. I just gotta do my best. Anywho, next VN I'm reading, I heard some of the Zero Escape fans say that Somnium was the author's attempt to do more Zero Escape, so I'm gonna go ahead and read that. It's interesting enough. So, I'll see if he does any more kind of weird experimental things. And I watched Katya play Isomnium briefly, and it intrigued me. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and read it. We'll see how I feel about it after I finish them. Looks like it was popular enough to get a spin-off, so that probably bodes well for it to be finished. I think I'm making these too small. I'm gonna make this a little wider. Okay. Joy of liquefy. I'll make that a little bit more parallel once I clean it. Kinda same here. I just gotta get it down, man. These characters are really complicated. And I have not been writing these all my life like a Japanese person. In fact, I don't write at all. I don't. I just type. My kanji studies are fine, but I don't write them. I just type and call it good. And, you know, I am not bothered by this. I am fine being a little bit illiterate. I'm mostly learning Japanese as an idle curiosity, so there you go. Want this to be angled down just a little bit more. Then it has feet. Got little tiny feet. Okay. And then we see just a little bit of the guy coming out here. So, you know, something like that. I think that'll look fine once I clean it up. It looks pretty convincing. Okay, I'm gonna leave my reference right there for now, just so I can look at it, but let's just get this cleaned. Let me see, are you supposed to go to the top? Because currently you don't. Yes, you are. Okay. Okay, this is why I checked before I started smoothing. There we go. And what about you? Do you go to the top? You sure do. Let's fix that. I'm even gonna bring this one a little bit closer to the top. Okay. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and just clean this. I actually think my line thickness is pretty okay. I, strictly speaking, should have like a little bit more variance in it. But, you know, that's fine. I'll try to get a little bit, because there are some spots where it gets thinner. It's all very calligraphy, and it looks very nice. And that is probably a bit beyond my current calligraphy skills, and I'm fine with that. I'm going for something specific stylistically, so I don't really feel the need to replicate it one-to-one. So I'm just gonna get close enough. Alright, I will, you know, make some tapers and points and stuff. I'll try to make it look nice. Of course. You know, it wouldn't be me if I didn't at least try a little. And then once I'm done, I'll probably just merge the layer down. I don't think that points like that, does it? No, it's actually pretty round. So I'm gonna make it square then. Okay, yeah, that makes a little bit more sense. Just make it a little bit square. Probably the same for this part then. I'll make it a little bit more square. And I think that this is actually separated, if I remember correctly. No, it's actually pretty attached. It's just a little bit higher up. So it's a little bit more like this. Okay. I'll be going back and forth between this and the reference a little bit, I think. Maybe I should find one off stream so that this way I don't have to scroll and make myself vaguely motion sick. It actually does. Oddly enough, if I pan a lot, I do get a little bit motion sick. I've always been pretty sensitive to motion sickness, so. If you ever wonder why I do go to... I take the time to bring references up here, but still look at off-stream references a lot, that's why. I will get nauseous if I keep panning back and forth too much when I'm this zoomed in. So that is the reason. I do like having the on-stream references, at least for the early part of the process, though, when I'm still kind of figuring everything out. Lets people know what I'm drawing. Okay. Let me see. You know what? I'm gonna go look for another one because, man, panning back and forth like that's annoying. Oh, I see. So this is actually part of this. Okay. Seeing it drawn in another style is interesting. Like I mentioned, you know, I have been studying Japanese just kind of an idle curiosity. I rarely do like more than 20 minutes a day. I just kind of am gradually expanding my vocabulary, learning kanji because I think it's cool. And I mean, it's going well. I can definitely understand. If there's something voiced in Japanese with English subtitles, I can actually understand quite a lot of it now. Just listening. So I definitely see the progress. But I'm not trying super hard. I just think it's I like languages, and I like languages that use non-Latin alphabets. I remember there was a long time where I was trying to learn Sanskrit, and that was interesting. Of Indian languages, it was a fun time. I remember like nothing, and I know a little bit of Chinese for similar reasons. Where my idle curiosity goes tends to vary somewhat, but I do tend to keep coming back to Japanese just because I watch lots of Japanese media, so it tends to leave me a little bit more curious about it than many of the others. I don't exactly consume a lot of, say, Russian media or, I don't know, what are some other ones I poked at? Korean. That's actually less true recently, just because I've been reading a lot of webcomics, and a lot of that is very Korean. So... And I mean, I can't speak any of them, but... I do just kinda like learning about them. I think it's interesting. I like it a lot. I just feel like the language a group of people speaks is a very interesting look into their mind. as a person, as a society, like what words they choose individually. It will tell you about the person specifically and what words exist out there and how the grammar is structured and whatnot. Will tell you a lot about the society that language is in. So, I think languages are neat. I like them. I like them a lot. So I do go through periods where I just kind of learn a little bit of a language as an idle curiosity. Man. Okay, so this is completely unrelated, but I'm at that time of year where sometimes it's a little bit too hot for me to have a blanket over my shoulders all the time, but it's still a little bit too cold to not have the blanket over my shoulders all the time. So I just can keep being in constant state of fluctuation of too hot and too cold. I wish the weather would make up its mind. Please just be hot or cold. I can deal with either, but this in-between state is hell, and I hate it. There's been times where I go to bed with 2 blankets and then I wake up with 1. So I just kick it off. I am extra squirmy while sleeping. Sometimes I'm amazed I sleep at all. This one should not be angled quite this hard, but, you know, it was a sketch. I knew I'd be fixing a lot of this later. And I think for something like this, close enough is fine. I think I've got the basic shapes of all these right. They're probably not balanced correctly, but I'm fine with that. My perfectionism is not actually killing me here, and I am so happy about that. I'll take what I can get. I just want a little bit more space between these 2 characters, since this one is supposed to be part of this one. In fact, I should probably move this guy a little bit closer to its buddy over there. Okay, and I think I want you to be a little narrower too. I'll just tuck that in a little. There we go. Yeah, I think that looks a little bit better. Now we have a little bit of a space between these 2 characters. One thing that I have found interesting about watching Japanese artists talk about art, whether, you know, through actual tutorials or just talking about some things, is that they see their translators seem to translate drawing and writing as almost interchangeable. And I found that was interesting, given the nature of how you write Japanese characters. I'm not surprised that they see them as very similar to drawing. I just thought that was kind of neat. I'm not sure if it's just a literal translation or certain issues. I do notice that a lot of creators that make subtitles for English-speaking audiences do tend to have minor errors, like pronoun issues, for example, or using, you know, write instead of draw. But that was one that I found particularly interesting. You know, just a look. into how the people of a given culture think. Where writing and drawing are very similar. Whereas I don't think most native English speakers would ever confuse the two. I do not see writing as even remotely close to drawing. Let's see, that's connected up at the top, right? Okay, I can't see on this one. I need to find one where she's a little bit more turned around. Yeah, they are connected. Okay. Yeah, and while making sure that a lot of these are at least mostly the right shape, I'm also making sure that they're a pretty consistent distance away from the top and that they're following the angle here. I realized I didn't do a good job of that here, so let's fix that. But I am trying to do that. I want it to look font adjacent. I don't feel the need to be perfect about this part, but I want it to be believable. So this way, while you're just looking at it, zoomed out, not really scrutinizing every detail, nothing feels amiss. That said, people that actually know how to write in kanji here, I apologize. Let's see, are they about the same width? Oh, I can't really tell on this one. Let's see. Okay, is this a good one? Oh no, that one's way too small. Oh man, the only good one really exists on her reference sheet. But it's kind of a small image. Okay. I will have to make do. Okay. Oh ho. This is not parallel with the top. This goes down like this. I don't know if I like that, but I think it's probably fine. I'll stay true to the original for now. And this actually does point. Okay, yeah. Alright, so I found her reference sheet out on the internet where I can easily reference it. So I'm gonna do that. And it's sufficiently large, actually, the one on her Twitter. I am happy. Now I don't have to worry about getting motion sick from panning too much. It's beautiful. And this guy over here is actually angled downward. Like this. So it goes up over this way. Okay. There we go. It's okay. When I knew I was doing the arm today, I figured that this would probably be the hardest part. So I'm glad that it's such a small area, because I feel like I'm already almost done with it. Let's see, this side, I kind of want to skew this, and you know what? Doing that with liquify would be really hard. So I better just do it like this. I do think it's hilarious how many kanji just have little feet. They just got little feet that they're standing on. It's adorable. Makes me laugh every time I see it. Let's see, I think I want this to be a little further away at the highest point. There we go. Looks a little weird since I do have to have it turning like this, but I think it's okay. See how I feel about it next week, and I think that this part actually needs to be a bit higher. I think I have too much space between those. Yeah. I guess it's less that it needs to be higher and more that it needs to be wider. And that I think will be easier to do with a big ol' liquefy. And it's gonna break apart a little bit, don't worry about it, it'll be fine. And then, let's see... bottom part here, I think I do want to pull it down just a bit, at least on this side. Then have a little bit of space between things here. I'll just casually erase. Maybe not that much space. They're pretty close together. There we go. Okay. Better. Much better. And how are they? Yeah, this one goes pretty much straight across. So this part will follow up there. This part will follow down here. And it'll follow that guy. I'm gonna need to pull this back up, I think. Yep. Alright. And I'm gonna worry about that stick in the middle when the time comes. Because, yeah, time has definitely not yet come. Yeah, and this being a little bit unnatural there is fine. That's exactly how it should look. Now we'll get this into being a straight line on a curved surface. There we go. Straight line on a curved surface. It just feels a bit weird because my curved surface is so not curved at all, but it's supposed to represent a curved surface. Okay, so now I have that part going across there. And then we have the bar kind of coming down here. I think I'm just going to redraw that part. Because at this point we got the bar coming down here. And then we got two sticks coming up into here. The bar sticks out a little bit out at the bottom. That's probably a bit too much. But I'll just go ahead and get those two sticks in there. Did I make them too long? No, I think they're good. The angle, I think, might be a little bit sharp. Let me lessen it just a little. Okay, there we go. Now we got some nice straight lines there. And I'll straighten out this little stick here. Okay. And let's make this just a little bit taller. There we go. And I'll make this one just a little bit taller too. Okay. That's probably close enough. Like I said, just going for close enough here. Maybe someday I'll actually learn how to write, but that day is not today. I don't know, it hasn't been very high on my priority list because I doubt I'll ever have to actually hand write anything in Japanese ever. Like if I went to Japan, maybe, but I don't think that's gonna be a thing I ever do, so... At most, it'll be talking with people on the internet that speak Japanese. And at that point, I can type. So it would be for the sake of, idle curiosity and just because I feel like it, as opposed to something useful. And I don't think there's anything wrong with just doing a thing because you feel like it and you think it's neat. So, there may come a day where I want to actually learn how to handwrite these things. And hey, I think calligraphy is wonderful. Chinese and Japanese calligraphy is really beautiful. So, I could see myself being interested in doing it. It's just not the cards right now. Too many other things. Okay, now I need to straighten out this one, because this is a nice, simple curved line. And, there's no curves allowed here, so I gotta figure out a good way to straighten it while still making it recognizable as this kanji. I think this is fine. Like, I know that the sub-kanji here looks pretty much like the kanji for women. So, I think that's recognizable as that. I don't actually know the proper term for the components that are in it, so I just know that this part looks kind of like women. Okay. Come up and up. Try to get this a little bit more of a consistent width. I'm definitely gonna have to zoom out and check all this afterwards because I can tell that some parts are not super consistent, but I think it might be okay. We'll see if it's actually okay or if I'm just being lazy. So I will just do a first pass here, zoom out, and we'll see how lazy I can be. It can be nice to be just a little bit lazy sometimes, right? Sometimes I want to have a nice lazy Sunday. Alright, so this is going to be the last one I really have to draw here. At least for this pass. We'll see if I have to go back and fix any. But I think it's looking alright. Mostly passable here. Okay. I still feel like this part might be a little bit skewed. Just this top part here. So I might fix that. I'll just, let's see. It's actually like a little part coming out there. So, yeah, I don't like how skewed this is, so I'm gonna go ahead and fix it. You know what? I don't actually think it's that part that's skewed. I think it's this part. And let's cut out that little part there. There we go. Okay. So now let's get these a little bit more in line with each other. That's why I had that skewed like that. Okay. Yeah, I forgot that I was having it follow this part. But when I was skewing this part over here, it was not lining up quite the way I hoped. But there we go. That looks pretty okay. Yeah, I think that's good because even on the armband on her reference sheet, this is a little bit crooked like this. So I think this works. Okay, let's just draw the rest then. Almost there. And then I'll probably need a moment to stretch my hand, because having to make lines like this is making it cramp a little bit. I didn't even do that much drawing before stream today, so this is definitely not a nerve issue. This is just, I am pressing a little bit too hard, maybe. I gotta have my hand chill out a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of these center ones. I want them to be lined up a little bit better. Okay. Let's get the box first. That should make the rest a little bit easier to draw. Okay, and around the bottom here, this part is like very thick and very blobby, which, you know, is just no good at all. So definitely gotta clean that up. But, you know, gradually it's taking shape, so that'll be nice. Okay, so let's fix up these corners. They definitely are a little bit thick. And, you know, then I think the box will be about done. So that's looking all right, I think. Yeah, I think that's looking all right. Now, how did the inner lines shake out? Top one just a little bit longer than the bottom one. Okay. About the same thickness, though. So let's get those in there. So the top one will be just a little bit longer than the bottom one, but only a little. They were pretty close to the same length. And they were definitely the same width. Kind of pretty evenly dividing up all this, and I have you angled a little off, unfortunately. Let's try that again. Oh yeah, hand's starting to hurt. Okay, let me take a moment to stretch my fingers. Big stretch. Okay. Precision. Yeah, and unfortunately, it's not cramping in any weird spots, so it's just, yeah, I'm tensing my fingers a bit too much. That's all. Not a big deal at all. Okay. That should be fine, especially if I'm a little bit more relaxed. Let's use a smaller brush, just so I don't feel the need to push quite so hard. Or maybe a larger one so I don't feel the need to push quite so hard. Yeah, that's actually correct. Because I think the reason I was pushing hard was because I needed a larger area. So if I just use a larger brush, then I don't have to push quite so hard. Okay. Just gonna straighten out a few of these lines here. There we go. Fix the angle on this one. Man, looking at the time, I'm actually going through this pretty well. Maybe I will have to work on hands today. Ooh, terrifying. Half asleep hands. Let's do it. I think I probably can, actually. I'll probably go do that before I do her forearm. I might as well. I can handle it. I can handle anything. Whatever art throws at me, I got this. Okay. Power of transform tools. I can make anything happen. Okay. That's probably fine. And what do little tiny feet look like here? So this one... how far off the center do they connect? This one actually connects, like, all the way at the end. He's just a little foot. He just kind of comes out here and does this kind of thing. Okay. So something like that. That's probably close enough. And then the other little foot, he's a little bit longer than his buddy here. He kind of goes up into the middle and then extends out just a little bit beyond the edge here. Okay. And then that guy's fine. So, good enough? Yeah, I'd say so. I think that looks like the real thing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and merge it. Throw caution to the wind. We're just going today. Alright. So... Okay, I need to get the reference sheet out of the way. Thank you for your services, little reference sheet. I'm gonna go ahead and get this little collar piece first. And I think to do that, I need to cut off her head for one, and then get her the rest of the collar and her shirt back on. Perfect. We now have a headless Nitya to do stuff with. Okay, that's not on that layer. I'm not sure what layer that is. It's fine. I think it's okay, so I'm just gonna roll with this. Okay. Saying okay all the time today. But I am indeed feeling okay, just a little bit sleepy. Okay, Thursday streams instead of Sunday streams should help with this. Okay, where's my line tool? That is not straight, so I'm going to fix it. It must be straight. There we go. That is so much better. Okay, and now... just gonna line it up over here. And I might have to make some adjustments here. That's fine. Oh, I'm using my tablet instead of my mouse for my line tool shenanigans. No wonder it looks weird. So we'll let this part go behind the armband. And then I want it to wrap nicely around her shoulder here. So we'll get a shape kind of like this. and I will let it just go off into a point there, where eventually it'll just kind of meld into the back part. Perfect. Let's go ahead and hide the layers I don't need. Color in some of these areas, and then all should be well. Okay. I think I will do her upper arm and her forearm at... No, I want to do the upper arm now. I was going to do them at the same time. I changed my mind just right here. So... just go ahead and fill this part in, and I will go from there. Let's see here. Just grabbing my line tool again. And you know what's nice? Because... My hand was cramping for a bit there, but now I'm just casually doing some stuff with the mouse, so I don't have to worry about that. My hand will not cramp, but I'm doing different things with it. It's beautiful. How is this gonna work? I'm not actually sure. Planckera has to think about how to make things three-dimensional again. So basically what I'm saying is that this part is going to be turning downward at that location. That's what this view looks like to me, so I think that the line... It shouldn't go all the way to the edge there, but it should get real close. Right about there seems okay. And you know, once I have this, then I can get the dark part of the... armband here, the back part here that kind of goes around her arm. So that'll be nice too. Alright, just one little edge to get rid of here, and there we go. And then I can just do the inside. I gotta be real careful about erasing this, though. Okay, I think that's close enough. So I think before I go and do the inside of her sleeve there, I'm gonna go ahead and do the back side of the armband. That should be pretty quick and easy. I think I can get away with just doing it on the brush because it's so small, instead of having to use a tiny line tool. Yeah, no problem. Same on the other side, he just has a little tiny bit wrapping around. Just enough for a little black dot. And there we go, now it looks like it's wrapping around a little bit, because you can see the backside. Oh wait, I can't lock the layer yet. I gotta color in this part. There's a few little gaps here and there that I just gotta get rid of. No, I gotta say, it'd be really nice to just get this entire arm done today. I didn't think I'd be able to. That's why I was like, meh, I don't feel like doing hands today. I'll do them next time. But, you know, looking at it, maybe there won't be a next time. Maybe I can just do it. Cool. Okay. Let's start coloring in some of this. This part I already know I want to be completely black from the corners here. Ooh, and I think I want to make that corner just a little bit pointier. It is not yet sharp enough to stab me. And that's a problem. It must be sharp enough to stab me. I will allow for nothing less. Okay. For the inside here, I think once again, I'm just gonna bust out that good old line tool. Gonna let it help me out a little. Oh, wait, I missed a couple spots. There we go. And I see I changed the armband enough that this line is no longer correct. You know what? I think this part will be easier to handle. So let's just do that first. I'll let that fold stick out just so I don't forget about it. Okay, here we go. I want this to be a pretty juicy line, so... Oh, wrong color. Yeah, that seems fine. That's about what I want, I think. And I don't want this to overlap with that part going back too hard. Okay, this one will be a little thinner. Maybe not that thin. Actually, that looks good. So I'm gonna keep it like that. And then I just zoom in a little bit more and make it pointy. For proper stabbing effect. Very important. Okay. See a couple of holes out there that I should fix and a little bit of residue. So just clean that up a little. No problem at all. And yeah, I'll go ahead and add the little shadows from the collar here. I will worry about the, the little tooth pattern, the little like green part going around it in a little bit. I think it's fair for that to come a little bit later. I know I did all the decorations on the armband and the cuff first, but I think I actually want to handle the decoration on the collar here once I have the rest of it drawn, the part that's on her chest. I think I'll have a bit of a hard time figuring out where it should be on this part sticking up without that. So I'm actually going to hold off on that. So I guess this arm won't be completely done, but I can get it close. I just think it'll be a little bit easier to do with the rest of the chest. Okay. So that should be fine, and now I can go back to kind of polishing up this part here. And that part there. I think what I want to do here actually is add another point. Yeah, something like that. That looks much better to my eyes. I want this point to come out a little bit more this way. Let it, I don't know, have a shape like that, whatever you call that shape. Alright. Let's see. Just gonna use the line tool to straighten all this out. I think that the way I have things is fine, it just needs to be a little straighter. So I'm just gonna do that. And that's all it really takes. It's nice when things are easy. And then I can go back in and make any spot that needs to be pointier just a little pointier. Like right here. Right here's not pointy enough. Let's fix them. Let's make it pointy. Over here too. Over here got a little bit de-pointified. Most of those look pretty okay. Alright, time to clean up this part. Just casually go on and around. I actually kind of like this extra point there, so I'm gonna let it live. Okay, and the rest I think I clean up by hand. It can be pretty hard to get those tight little acute angles with the line tool, and I actually don't like this part here, so I'm just going to draw that. There we go. That is much better. Okay, and I think that's the sleeve, and I think it looks okay. I might add another fold here. We'll see how I feel about it when I turn the rest of her body on. But for now, I guess it's time to take a look at this hand. Oh god, do I really want to try to do the hands today? It seems kind of like a bad idea if I'm being honest. I might skip them and go do something else. Yeah, I think it's probably a bad idea. So instead, let's see. Where's her body here? And her head. I think I'm gonna kind of get into her neck and the rest of her body down here instead. Kind of hate to do that with her forearm unfinished. But I think I can at least get this side and get all that looking good, because then I can get the back of the collar in there, and I think that'll make some things make more sense to me. And I'll be able to properly connect everything up here. I think that'll look good. So yeah, let's do that. Let's get the rest of her body here. I just don't quite feel up to doing hands today. I'll do hands next time. Hands will probably be the first thing I do next time, actually. And as a change, yes, I do think I will indeed do Thursday instead of Sunday. Okay, let's see. Where is that layer? Here it is. Okay. So, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make the line from here down to here straight. And that should fix like half of the issues with her back here. I needed it curved to understand certain things, but no more. I think just a solid straight line right through here is exactly what this part needs. I don't mind the little curve up there. That's fine. Okay. So what is that? Oh, I shouldn't do that. That transparency bit. That is shenanigans. So I gotta fix that. This part is fine. It should be allowed. Please allow her shirt to show through her body right here. It is important. And I need her body to do the same thing. So we'll just make sure that her body is visible through that, and that should be fine. I don't think the skirt even overlaps there. I'm pretty sure it's on right now. Yeah. There's not very much skirt in this. It's just down here. So when I do the body here, I don't think I'm gonna get this area. I might get a little bit of the neck. I probably will do the neck. But everything through here, I think I'm gonna wait until the rest of this arm is done. But I will just keep things simple. Add the shadows that I want here. We'll add a little separator by this one, just to make it clear what's happening, and that should be fine. I also get the feeling that the collar, when I turn it back on, will help. So yeah, I'll start with the neck, and then I'll just get her shirt right down here. And we'll start getting her tummy area, because I think that'll be pretty straightforward. And I don't want to end quite yet. I may be sleepy, but I don't know. I always feel a little bit bad when I end, like, super early. Oh, I don't have that on her body layer. That's fine, actually, if I just have it on the top here. I'll start getting the shoulder kind of roughed in here. I'll straighten it out something a little bit more proper once I'm a little bit more confident in the shape. I think all of this is just neck. Let's see. No, I do think you go that far back. Oh, yeah, this looks correct to me. And if anything, the bit I just drew over here should be angled slightly differently. Up like that. Okay, yeah, there we go. That's pretty good. And I'll be able to get into this arm and stuff. I think I want to do the hands before I get into that arm. So I'll just head on down here. And I'll start kind of straightening out the shredded part of her shirt here. Should be pretty straightforward. I'm actually going to hide the shape line for a second, just so I can see a little bit better. I'm not quite sure how I want to handle the shadow, but I do know roughly how I want to handle the overall shape. I think what I have drawn is, you know, pretty alright. So I'm just going to straighten it out, and then I'll go back and make some of these parts a little pointier. Now this one needs an extra dent in order to look correct. Okay, where's her stomach here? I am going to kill that real quick, and I will worry about the repercussions later. It's fine. No need to worry. I actually kind of like that extra bit there, so I'm going to keep it. Goes all the way up here. And I guess I have decided to shape it like this, and I'm okay with this. And that's just an elbow, so I don't need to worry about that. But yeah, I think that should look fine once I kind of fix all of the corners. So I'll go fix all of the corners here. And I might take a look at the collar just a little here. So that maybe I can go ahead and finish up the collar sitting on top of her shoulder. So that'll let me get that little pattern on it, all that good stuff. Sounds good to me. Sounds great to me. Yeah, it's amazing how much better this looks once I make everything pointy instead of all those really rounded shapes that the line tool is really good at. Or rather results in. Now that they're nice and pointy again, you know, I feel like all is right with the world. I see that I missed a spot in my fixing of the mask here, so let's fix that. I will revisit the shading a little bit later. for now, you know, we'll just go with this. And it'll look weird for a second, but that's okay. Where is this collar? Oh man, I really do need to define that shoulder before I do the collar, huh? It won't look right until I do. Okay, where's my shape? I think this is enough information for me to at least be able to get this part, though. So I won't put the pattern on it yet, but I'll go ahead and straighten it out. Let's just clean this up. I'll get rid of the pattern for now. And I'll just, you know, make it all straight. As you do with this. And this does tell me that I do need to extend the top layer out just a little bit more. Let's go ahead and attach this properly. Get something a little bit more like this. A little bit more like this. And this part will come down and will eventually kind of transition into the lower part. Where it'll all be in shadow for a bit. Okay, I better go hide the bottom one while I'm fixing up the top one. Where'd I put it? There it is. But yeah, you know, just something a little like this. I think that'll be perfect. And now I can just happily clean all this up. Let's see. I think all I really need to do here, let's see. Right now I'm debating, do I want to erase it from here to here? I think that's probably what makes the most sense, or I could add more from here to here. And I think with how I have this drawn, I kind of wanted to actually do half and half. So I'm going to make it extend from here to here, and then we're gonna let gravity take over. And it's gonna go from there to there. And then I just gotta make it pointy and stuff. And it'll be great. Okay, let's connect this a little bit better. But that's the basic gist. I think that this will work just fine. So I'm just gonna go all the way around. I think I don't like that angle, so I will go ahead and fix up that little thing that's sticking out right there. I don't like it, but I want this to come down a little bit more straight. So probably from about there to there. Yeah, something like that. I'm actually changing the shape of this quite a bit, but that's fine. I can do that if I want. Okay. Yes? I think so. So I'll clean this up. And I think that this little collar bit... can I fully shade it? I do have the arm up here done. So yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll finish this back part, and I think that'll be the last thing I do for today. I am just too sleepy for too much drawing. It's unfortunate, you know? But occasionally I do have really bad insomnia, and I always stay up later than I should on Saturday night to begin with. I say later than I should, but no, I have zero regrets. So... There's no shit involved here. It's later than usual. That's a better way to put it. Later than usual. And I'm not even sure if I have the energy to shade this part, if I'm being honest. I think I might just leave it there. I think it looks good. And I can make sure that I like this. I'm not quite sure if I like this angle, for example. So it might just be better to handle that when I'm feeling a little fresher. Let me make it a little bit longer here. So yeah, I think I do want to change this angle, and I'm not quite sure how yet. It's like I keep saying that I'm probably just gonna stop, but then I keep poking at it because I like drawing, and stopping is hard sometimes. But I'll go ahead and kind of liquefy out what I have in mind here. And then we can re-straighten it out next time and make sure I still like it. But yeah, unfortunately, I think I am just out of gas and in desperate need of a nap. So I'll be ending, just a little bit early today. So my apologies. But I am just a sleepy little Planckera today. So let's see, next time. I think hands is going to be my first order of business. And then I'd like to get her shoulder and arm. Just all of this stuff through here. But yeah, things are going really well, and you can see that I actually have most of the layers on at this point. So that's really nice, and hopefully we'll be able to finish up in the next few, and hopefully drawing on Thursday instead of Sunday will help. So I will schedule the next one for Thursday, and you can always look at the live tab on my page when you want to know when I will be streaming. I've just been doing that instead of a proper schedule. Just scheduling the streams. I might make a perpetual schedule at some point, since I do tend to do very similar things week to week. I just haven't gotten around to figuring out how to do that. Or, how most people do it. But I do plan to. But for now, yeah, I think it's coming together. I think her arm is looking pretty good, and, once I can actually get this collar piece on, and the ribbon, I think that'll divide her arm from her body pretty well. So, yeah, I think it's all coming together. But I will go ahead and stop here for today. So, thank you all for coming. And I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. I will see you on Thursday. Bye-bye.